Hey, how you doing? It's Dr. Dave, Paragon Chiropractic. Paragon Chiropractic is your purveyors of drugless and non-surgical health care. Think about it, man. That's what we do, baby. All right, so I'd like to welcome you back to this week's video blog. This one is entitled, let me see, More About the Fat Switch. Not a super exciting title, but if you were kind of confused about it, yeah, there's reason to be. However, and I can talk to you about that some other time. It'll take too long, but fat switch for our purposes is basically getting your body to convert the stored fats in the fat cells into ketone bodies and use that for energy instead of relying on carbohydrates and glucose and sugar and all the rest of the stuff. All right, so here we go. Now, it should be pointed out that it might take a while to throw this fat switch, and that is to get your body to convert your stored fats into ketones so you can use it for energy. A lot of times people will say, oh, it's been 3 days, I haven't had any sugar and so on and so forth, or carbohydrate, but I don't see any change. 3 whole days, that's a long time. But you got to keep in mind that glucose and fat that has not been converted to fat stored in the fat cells can be stored in the internal organs and muscle tissue as well. What are your internal organs? Your kidneys, your liver, your heart, your spleen, your brain, your eyes. Shall I continue? So it can all be stored there. So all of that's got to be taken care of before you start burning the stuff around your waist. So just because you stopped eating carbohydrates does not mean that your body does not have months and months of glucose and fat reserves that need to be handled before you start to see changes, right? Fat also can spill out of the fat cells and into the bloodstream. And when that happens, the fat then, we'll pretend like this is the cell wall, and you've got these little receptors on it that insulin's supposed to attach to usher the glucose into the cell for energy, right? So if the fat is here, it kind of binds with these receptors, and now the insulin cannot force the glucose into the cell, and so the glucose and all the rest of the stuff and the fat and everything else continue to float along in the bloodstream. And then guess what? It's going to find some place to store it. Those are your internal organs and all the rest of the stuff. Not a good deal. So I thought I'd talk real quick about the difference between happy fat cells and angry fat cells. And this is kind of an interesting thing. I heard about this many years ago. Happy fat cells are basically that. They're saying, yeah, come on, give me the fat. We'll take care of it. Don't worry. You can put it here and store it here and all the rest of the stuff and everything else, right? Good. Angry fat cells say, no more. We're not taking any more fat. We're not taking anything else. You find someplace else to put it. It's not going here. And they do so in a very angry manner, right? That's why they're angry fat cells. So what's a body to do? Well, that's going to start storing it again. Kidneys, heart, liver, pancreas, you name it, brain, eyes, all over the place. Big, big problem. So in addition to this, you'll also start to see people who have like those skin tags around the neck, or that black velvety skin under the eyes or in the elbows, behind the knees, on the back of the neck. That's all sugar stored in the skin. I mean, I'm not kidding you. Your body won't get rid of it. It'd be nice if you could just dump it, but you don't. It stores it, and it stores it for energy for that day when you only have 12 candy bars instead of the requisite 15 that you typically eat, right? So there we go. That wasn't nice. Nobody eats that at any rate. So that's the whole thing. Another thing that's interesting, and I haven't read this anything, but it's my personal opinion. They say that cancer cells thrive on sugar, on glucose. I'm not so sure that the body didn't create cancer cells and tumors for some place to put the sugar. Think about that. Chicken or the egg type thing that's going on. And if it turns out that that's the case, remember, you heard it here first. Good. But that's something to think about. So as you work to convert stored fat reserves into energy, the fat reserves in the organs and muscles will be the first to be defatted, as it were, right? So you won't see much change in your waist for some time to come, or maybe even on the scale or anything. So just keep pushing through. This type of fat that's stored in and around your internal organs is called visceral fat, and is far more dangerous than that subdermal, meaning below the skin fat that you have around your waist. I mean, we've all seen the skinny guy, right? You look at him from behind, he's totally skinny. Then you look at him in profile, and he's got this beach ball, but he's totally skinny. What is this beach ball? Oh, it's fat. No. It's the fat around the internal organs, and there's so much of it, it's pushing the organs out of the body. That's what this is. This is dangerous, very deadly, not a good thing. I'll let you take a look again. That is a problem. You should send them to Paragon because we can help that person with that. So, good. We've all seen the skinny guy. All right. I will talk to you because some people will say, well, he probably ought to go get some liposuction or do some cool sculpting. Yeah. The big problem with that is that you're born with a certain number of fat cells, right? And when you get fat, you don't create new fat cells, right? The fat cells you have just grow till they look like this. And that's what happens. It gets stored in that particular area. So when you do something like liposuction, they go in, take a little vacuum, and they suck out all those fat cells. All right, good. When you do cool sculpting, they freeze those fat cells and kill them that way. Okay, so if you're born with a certain number of fat cells and you're supposed to have a certain number and now you don't have those, if for some reason you start eating poorly or you never stopped eating poorly in the first place, where's that fat going to be stored? Forehead, face, back of the neck, shoulders, arms, behind the legs, behind the knees, all over the place. Any place there's no fat cells. Not a good thing. That's a big problem. Same thing happens with the cool sculpting. Like I said, you lose that. Plus, all that fat will also be stored in and around the visceral tissue, the internal organs of the body. So cool sculpting and liposuction, not a good idea. But what might be a good idea, Dr. Diane, if you're worried about your body fat and so on and so forth, and we will get to this in other videos, but I've got Dr. Diane here with a little commercial.
We can test your statistics. It's a test that doesn't take very long. The consultation afterwards takes about 40 minutes to go over the results. It will tell us how well hydrated you are. It will tell us how many calories you're burning. But most importantly, it tells us your fat percent versus your lean body mass. If you have a high fat percent for your age group and your sex, then that means extra inflammation, and that means more disease and more ill health. So we would like to help you find out about all those things. We will give you the tools that you need to eat properly so you can reduce the fat mass and make yourself healthier and less inflamed. So give us a shout out and let us know if you'd like us to schedule that. It is valuable information, and then we can retest you and make sure you're on the road to health and wellness. Okay.
Yeah.
Thanks.
Actually, it's even more than just valuable. If your body is actually storing fat around the organs and you plan on coming in here and getting healthy with a handful of vitamins and some adjustments, it's not going to work. You're heading the wrong way. And that's where we got interested in all of this. When I first started as a chiropractor, the chiropractic adjustments were amazing. They were magical, right? They were miraculous. But people sit and they eat and they come in and they're 40, 50, 60, 70 pounds overweight. They are unhealthy. And there is no way to make an unhealthy person healthy without them working at being healthy. So this study, this VLA study that we do, is absolutely vital. You really are going to want to do that. So good. All right, so with all that in mind, here's the thing. So be patient. You know, if you're eating well and you're working on it, this is a lifetime project. You know, you're never going to hit a point where it's okay, good. Now I'm healthy. I can go back to being unhealthy. No, that's never going to happen. So you're going to work on it forever and ever. So you just kind of keep doing it, and we can help you along those particular lines. If you're a male, eating within an 8 to 9 hour window is the best way to lose weight. Females, it's a 10-hour window. The rest of the time, it's only water. So there you go. That works out really well. And you do this by eliminating the processed grains, polyunsaturated vegetable oils, sugar, and trans fats in that window. And you do that in that window and eliminate those things in the processed foods, you can't help but start to throw that switch and start burning that fat. So be patient and let us know. We can certainly help you and give you some encouragement along those lines. Before I go, we're going to basically tell you to be sure that you are eating your vegetables every single day, as you will see in upcoming videos, the importance of that. And in the meantime, if you like this, hit the like button. Even if you don't, hit the like button because it helps, but do like it. Tell all your friends about it, and we'll see you back here next week. Hooray!